there, welcome. I'm Sharon, a portrait photographer based in Southern California. Thanks for joining me today as we talk about personal branding. First things first, the three types of shots that I like to focus on getting. The first one is me working at my desk, me with my laptop, those types of shots. The second type of shot I like to get is behind the scenes. What I like to get with me and my photography is me setting up my modifiers or my lights or my backdrops or my gear. It's me working with clients. That's me behind the scenes doing what I do every day. The third type of shot that I like to get is what I like to think of as me at play. Me at play is me with my dog, me taking a hike, me riding my bike, me scouting locations perhaps. So even though that's a little bit behind the scenes, it's still you tagging along, getting to know a little bit about my personality. Those are the three types of shots that I like to focus on getting. And I do like to plan out this shoot, have a workflow for the day, and I know what that workflow is going to look like, so I can plan with the props and lights and that sort of thing. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the gear that I use. Before I get into the gear, if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to tell you how you can download your own personal branding guide that will help you if you're just getting started to identify those sorts of things that I'm talking about and those sorts of things that maybe you haven't thought about, and how you're sharing your personal branding persona on social media with your own clients. Stick with me to the end and I'll tell you how to download that. Back to the gear that I like to use. For my social media, YouTube Shorts, Reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Stories, any of those sorts of things, I like to use the camera that I have with me. It might be my cell phone, and most of the time it is my cell phone. Today I'm shooting on my cell phone, so you can see what that looks like. And the only thing I think that you need to keep in mind when shooting either on your cell phone or your camera is, where is this video ultimately going to end up, and what format am I going to shoot it in? So by format, I mean, are you going to shoot horizontal like I am here for my YouTube, or do you need to shoot more of a profile sort of photo or video that it's easier for you to post on Instagram or stories or TikTok, that sort of thing? Just think about that so that you make sure, if you need to shoot both style of shots, that you get some of that video both in horizontal and in vertical sort of mode, so that you have the shots that you need and you don't have to go back another day and reshoot all those things over again. Today I'm shooting on my iPhone, and it is a Pro Max 11, so it's not the latest greatest phone even that's out there, but it's going to shoot great video for YouTube for most purposes. I mean, would I like to have the latest greatest high-end cinema camera? Of course I would like to have that, but is that practical and do I need it? No, I think my cell phone is going to work just perfect for today. For a large majority of what our purposes are going to be, I think for most people it's going to work just fine. Use the camera that you have. Then as you gain in your skills and your knowledge and your client base, you can always upgrade to something a little higher end. Let me tell you the settings that I'm using. I like to shoot on 4K, and I like to shoot 60 frames per second. Now I know that the general rule for cinema is 24 frames per second. Why do I shoot in 60? Because it takes up more space. Well, the reason for me as a photographer that I like to shoot in 60 frames per second is that frequently when I'm shooting clients or behind the scenes, I like to slow that video down. In order to do that, I need more frames per second so that I can slow it down. That's the main reason. It does take up a little more space though. Is it a deal breaker? No, I'll shoot in whatever I have available. Don't let some of those parameters stop you from starting, let's say that. Don't let some of those parameters stop you from starting or getting the video that you need. Okay, next let's talk about sound. For me and video, sound is the most important. When I'm scrolling on YouTube or one of the other social media type platforms, if the sound is horrible, I'm going to flick right through it. If it sounds good and the quality of the lighting or the video isn't quite, expert, do I care? Not really. I would rather have good sound, because a lot of times even I'll listen to the video as I'm walking. The quality of the image is not as important as the sound. I wanted to share with you the type of microphone that I use, and I use this Rode microphone. It's around $50. You can get it on Amazon. I like to use the dead cat, and I just pretty much keep it on there most of the time, because it does help a lot with the quality of the sound of the video. It comes with some adapters that'll plug into your camera, but if you are plugging it into your cell phone, there is a little adapter that you'll need, so I'll leave that information below as well. The lighting is what I think of next. As a photographer, in my style of photography, I like to look at not only light, so I'm using window light right now, and if I turn towards the window, you can tell there's more light on my face and it's more evenly lit. And if I turn more like this, you can see the shadows more on this side of my face. And I look for shadows when I'm looking at images and or video. If you're looking for a good little light, you can use the ring light. You can use an LED sort of panel. So I have one of the little Lume Cube lights that's a little square about this big. There's other companies that make those as well. You can buy panels that are bigger. It all depends on your needs and kind of what you need to get out of the lights. Now, obviously, as a photographer who loves studio and studio work, I have a ton of gear. For video, I tend to use natural light or like my Lume Cube. So you decide what look you like, and you decide what kind of shadows you like, and then go from there. And again, I would suggest not spending a ton of money when you're first getting started. Sort of dive in, start using your gear, see what you like, what you don't like, and then build on that as you explore and you gain a little more confidence and a little more knowledge as you go. You can build on those sorts of things. Another piece of gear that I really like that I wanted to show you today is my gimbal, and this is a gimbal for my cell phone, and what a gimbal does is help stabilize the image. When you're shooting, especially if you're vlogging or you're out walking or you're tracking a client or you're tracking some action, I don't want my camera to be shaking all over the place, and that's what this gimbal will do. You mount your phone onto the end, and they make them for cameras. I have a camera gimbal as well. You mount your phone on here, and then as you do different moves and you follow whoever it is that you're videoing, your image is going to be much more smooth and stable. So I would recommend at some point exploring the option of using a gimbal if that's important to that. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. Nobody's paying me any money to promote these items. I'm just sharing with you what it is that I use in hopes that it can make your life a little easier if you're just getting started. You want nice, steady video, like if you're doing the talking head thing like I'm doing right now. I have it mounted on a stand, or like I said, you could use a tripod. And then I'm using a Ulanzi PT-3 mount. It's holding my camera, my microphone, and my little LED light that I don't actually have on right now. So it'll hold all of those things all in one little camera mount, and it'll fit either on your tripod or on your light stand of some sort, and it makes everything compact and easy to use. So I'll leave links to all those things below. Now, we've talked about sound, which I think is really important. We've talked about lights and shadows, which is probably secondarily important. We've talked about the 3 types of shots that I like to focus on when I'm doing personal branding: me at work, me at play, and then behind the scenes. And I think it's as simple as that. I don't think we need to make it any more difficult. I think what we need to do is show up consistently and let people get to know us and our personality. Therefore, they know, like, and trust what it is that we're doing, and they can relate in some form or fashion. And if they like your vibe or they gel with what it is that you're doing and they understand who you are and what you're trying to accomplish, then, you know, they're more likely to be in line with what it is you have to offer. Again, thanks so much for spending your time with me. I promised that I would share with you how to do your download of a free personal branding guide. So here you go. And I'll leave a little link here, right here somewhere. Here, maybe here. And you can download your own personal branding guide. And again, that'll help you sort of refine your colors, your look, your vibe, your emotion, what it is that you want to share with your client base on social media. If you have any comments or questions or other video ideas that you'd like me to share with you, whether it has to do with how I do my video or how I shoot my portrait photography, just leave it in the comments below. Thanks again.